Alrighty, it's that time of the morning where we take a look at what was on your lips or what you were tweeting about this week. So, Buhle, of course, top of everybody's thought, Eskom. Electricity, Ruyter, the lack thereof, Sibalandonina. Let's take a look at what we had in terms of a poll this week. So we asked you whether ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says the party will take former Eskom CEO Ruyter to court to prove the allegations he made during an interview that the ANC is using Eskom as a feeding trough, and this is how people voted. 21.9% said the ANC must defend itself, 14% saying the ANC must let it go, and 64.1% saying protect Ruyter. And of course, this is after he did that interview where he made damning allegations against the ANC, saying they're using Eskom as a feeding trough, and the ANC coming out on Thursday to say, well, if he has evidence, then he must prove it. And so I guess this is how people voted. They feel that he should be protected. Yeah,
I guess so. We know how that usually looks with whistleblower protection, but we won't get into that. That's a topic for a different day. News24 also tweeted Mineral Resources and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe says that former Eskom CEO Ruyter must not throw a stone in the bush and hope an animal will come out. He must name the politicians he claimed were corrupt.
Okay, let's take a look at what Cliff the reporter is saying. He's saying the ANC Veterans League wants President Ramaphosa to give former Eskom CEO Ruyter whistleblower protection. And I guess that's it, right? Because some sectors of society believe that this was an act or a form of whistleblowing. And so we'll see how this one unfolds, because also the Star yesterday reported that Ruyter will be leaving South Africa. And so even with this legal action that the ANC is saying they're going to take, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, if it does unfold.
If it does unfold, indeed. Bildwan SA's leader, Musi Maimane, he tweeted a letter to former Eskom CEO Ruyter urging him to name and shame the corrupt ANC politicians who are sabotaging Eskom for their own personal gains. And that's the letter there on your screen. Request to name and shame ANC politicians involved in Eskom corruption and to report it to the police as required by law is the heading there in that letter.
Let's continue with that theme, because Mzwane Lemanyi also tweeted, wait, let's not confuse issues. Ruyter was not suitably qualified to be Eskom CEO from day one, and some of us are on record on that issue. But the thievery and corruption that he is raising now may have contributed to his poor performance. He must explain in Parliament. So very mixed views, you know, from people, some welcoming the information, saying, well, this is something we have sort of always known, but also being quite honest and frank about Ruyter at the helm, you know, during his time having delivered load shedding to South Africans.
Yeah, very interesting about Ruyter. He could have gone silently. He was nearly out the door, then he decided to throw a grenade. Nonetheless, Eskom then went ahead, of course, and they announced Caleb Kasim as the interim group CEO with immediate effect. That was the media statement that they released. So Kasim was appointed the Eskom CFO in November 2018. He had served in an interim capacity in that role as well from July 2017. And on your screens, you can just see that media statement of his appointment there. And of course, the South African public reacted.
Absolutely. So you got Johan Bierman, let's bring that up for you. Johan Bierman saying, what a brave man. Either that or he is party to the corruption. Okay, and then we've got Paki Foss, who says, so the same accountant who saw nothing wrong in approving payments of 26 Rand per roll of toilet paper or 200,000 Rand for a mop is now running the joint. Nice. Eskom is in great hands.
That's what Paki Foss thinks there. Kakeso Munyadiwa also weighed in on this. He says this is a distraction from ANC thuggery that's happening at Eskom. We must never fall into the trap of focusing elsewhere while we have an elephant in the room. Ruyter must respond to direct questions, and if indeed Ramaphosa knew about this, then he must be held to account.
Well, let's take a look at this now. So the power utility confirmed, according to a News 24 article, that Eskom cut 7,045 megawatts from the grid, a move to prevent a total shutdown of the national grid. And a spokesperson, Sikonati Mantshantsha, said in a tweet on Tuesday this equates to stage 7 load shedding, though this was not officially announced. Yesterday, we had some Eskom officials coming out and saying, well, the country is not at stage 6 yet. There is a paper that is being put together that will talk to higher stages of load shedding if we get there. But if you take a look at that Eskom's Push app, you'll see that for stage 6, stage 7, stage 8, same thing.
One in the same thing.
One in the same thing. So where are we? Unless we're getting our maths confused,
Unless we're not sure what's happening. But and that's the thing. It really felt extreme. It's over the last week or so, the load shedding, a lot of us had 4 hours consecutively at some stage during the day. So it was quite intense. And Chris Excel, very active on Twitter, he spoke out saying small businesses are breathing through the wound right now, with some broken heart emojis there. Stage 7, hashtag load shedding.
Let's take a look at what Clint Fester has to say. It says, I want to know who planned this Formula E event in Cape Town with stage 7 load shedding crisis to watch electric cars like Wela Capella. We have electricity in our cars.
Like abracadabra.
Okay, abracadabra. Wela Capella. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
That's how you say it.
Alrighty, that was interesting though, right? To have electric cars and to have no electricity.
Very interesting.
Apparently the organizers, because our Valen Kirtley is there, the organizers made, prior arrangements knowing the situation. Look, things must move though,
Exactly.
in spite of it all, no matter how rough it is.
Yeah, but that is quite a good question there, actually. Ferial Hafaji, she went on to tweet, comment, Andre de Ruyter has been telling the country repeatedly why we are at an undeclared stage 7 and falling, unstoppable looting, rents, political interference, and the Eskom board and the cabinet and the ANC shoot the messenger. Kill off the whistleblower, she says.
And we end off with this. Engineer Matela Koko saying, South Africa has a new scapegoat now. This time, the scapegoat is white. Previously, the scapegoats were black, i.e. Koko and Brian Molefe. He's asking, who's next?